Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans. What we do around here, we break down social, emotional, and coaching-related topics in a discernible way for you to understand, relate to, and hopefully gain from. Please like, comment, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. And today we're going to talk about 8 things many people, especially in Western culture, have to unlearn from their childhood, bad habits we pick up as kids that often, especially kids in the last 2 generations or so, maybe 2.5, have to unlearn because we've learned bad habits over the last 30, 40 years. Anyhow, the first is to hide emotions. Many parents try to, because the world is becoming a more intense and harsh place, they try to teach their kids to stifle negative emotions like tears, sadness, anger, frustration. And so when we learn to hide our emotions as children, it makes communication, especially when trying to find a working friendship and romantic relationship, and then boss-mentor relationship, difficult, because if something's bothering us, we don't know how to express these things appropriately without going over the top. We either suppress them completely, which doesn't do any good because eventually you explode, or the emotional gauge with which we express the emotion is out of alignment for the situation. Maybe it's a little too harsh, maybe it's expressed incorrectly or inappropriately, or any other number of things. Dealing with learning how to integrate all emotions, positive and negative, into our adult psychology and mindset and expression is essential to being a successful adult. Now, next one is focusing on grades and achievement over learning, especially with parents who come from wealthy backgrounds and or positions of influence. This is huge. They put pressure on their children to engage in behaviors like getting straight A's or always 100% or whatever the case may be. And while academic excellence is a wonderful thing if it's your natural proclivity, or if you have a desire to be a professional student, which I swear that's what colleges are breeding these days. Look at the number of people with masters and PhDs that still have no idea what they want to do with their life, but that's probably another audio. In any event, the idea that grades matter more than knowledge and true art of learning is something we need to unlearn. If you believe that your degree means anything other than that you were able to sit through a instructional course of action, and that people will give you more credibility just on the basis of having it, but that doesn't mean you're more intelligent necessarily. Now, there are people with degrees that are highly intelligent people and they focused a lot on their studies, but there's also an equal number of people who just barely got by, who didn't really care about most of what they learned or didn't relate to what they wanted to do with their career, and that literally is a $50 to $75 to $100,000 piece of paper that means absolutely nothing. That's why I advocate for an integration of 50% of students go to college, 50% get mentors based on how they learn best, and I think we would have a completely different and more ingratiated and successful and working economy nationwide and worldwide if it was implemented all over the world. I don't think college is for every student. I don't think the cost of college is worth the investment, except in specialized courses. And ultimately, if there's no link to guaranteeing someone job placement, for most people, it's a gamble that young people from 18 to 25 or 23 or whatever you want to say really can't physically, fiscally, or emotionally afford. The next one is the bad habit of learning that they can manipulate to get what they want. And so Manipulation to get what we want is taught in movies, it's taught in television, it's taught in songs, it's taught in home lives, especially if the parents or guardians are manipulating each other. That's why it's extremely important if you are living in a toxic situation for the sake of the social and mental and emotional development of your children to consider leaving that, because the habit of manipulation usually goes about 3 to 4 generations deep before somebody figures out, hey, this is the way our family is, but it doesn't mean it's the way it has to be. So the inability to compromise or the overemphasis on achievement and success while using manipulative tactics is a habit one has to unlearn. Realize and recognize there's always someone more manipulative than you. And you may get away with it for months, years, even decades, but somebody will skunk you sooner or later. And if you think you are untouchable, you are probably the biggest fool that there is. The next is overemphasis on fitting in. While it is important for social development to have a social group, some people get their social group early in elementary school and it sticks with them. Some find it in middle school when there's more options. Some find it in high school and some don't find it until adulthood. And social groups can come in varying sizes. Some are 5 people, some are 20 people, and some have 1 to 3 friends that, kind of all hang around and are in each other's lives for different reasons. Do not focus on social groups, focus on relationships, relationship building, and bring together the group of people who might click together rather than looking for fitting in with a certain group of people. And when you do that, life will be a lot easier. So another misconception that kids have to unlearn as adults is that failure isn't good, right? So you failed, you fell short, you aren't good, you're not smart, you're not this, you're not that. Many parents put pressure on their children to be perfect, and they believe that failure isn't good. But when you look at the fact that 80% of entrepreneurs fail within the first 5 years, that doesn't mean they quit business. When you look at the fact that in sports, a good baseball player is a 300 hitter, which means he hits 3 out of 10 times, which means he fails 7 out of 10 times. When we look at ideas about education and advancement or invention, some of the most prolific and meaningful inventions of our world today, such as electricity or the telephone, there were literally hundreds, if not thousands, of attempts before they were successfully invented. If the people who invented these things or went through these experiences had the idea that the concept of failure, which doesn't exist anyway, as long as you can still try, there's only one step closer to success. But if you have to believe in the construct of a failure, fail forward, learn something and keep going. Failure is never bad because it can teach you something if you let it. Now, the next thing on this list is no breaks or downtime. So if you come from a family of poverty or you come from a family of high achievement, both of these can be environments where one needs to, learn how to take downtime or rest. And I deal with that, and I will be very transparent here. I deal with that to this very day, and it is a constant battle. I am a workaholic. It has negatively affected several areas of my life, but I was raised to be that way, and unlearning that behavior is extremely difficult, and it's a daily battle for some people. So if you have to discipline yourself to take breaks on purpose, even if it's 15-minute breaks throughout your workday or work night, if you're a second or third shifter, doing that and getting the habit of that will help you to unlearn or to reprogram against that negative belief that you don't deserve or you're not worthy to take breaks. The next one, and this is second to last, is punishment for mistakes. Look, we all make mistakes. We all are learning things. We all, drop something on the floor, or we all we'll accidentally run into a shelf at the store and knock something off. We all will do things from time to time that aren't ideal. They're embarrassing. It's uncomfortable. But, many parents, oh, you're so stupid. Clean that up right now. Or you're so klutzy. Don't, this broke and I'm going to punish you and ground you for a month. It's like, are there things that we need to be punished for? Yeah, but they're usually more towards social transgressions, not simple things. And if you grew up in an environment where you had to behave perfectly, unlearning punishment for small daily mistakes is a hard road, but it's a necessary one. And so the last one, probably for some people, is going to be a little controversial. The concept of judging others at all, racism, sexism, gender phobia, homophobia, any phobia really, is a learned judgment that you picked up from a social situation or social group, and it is negative. The ability to judge others or the willingness to judge others for any reason over things they cannot control, or even sometimes things they can, is counterproductive to social development. If we look for unity, the world grows. If we look for division, we find it, and the world slowly becomes more separated, and human function dies. That's the main reason that people are so lonely. It's the main reason that anxiety and depression have risen in some areas of the country and the world over hundreds of percent in the last 20 to 30 years, because people are so harsh and judgmental. So unlearning the concept of being judgmental for any reason other than self-protection is necessary for social continuation of development. So until next time, this is Scott Golden reminding you, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.